Well, I guess. Get started. Do roll call. Richard Johnson. Zoe Puga. Mark LePage.
Michael Ryan.
Roger Trahan.
Nicole Shermonte.
All right, good with that. We will start with our public hearings. Our first one is a NOI for One Paddock Lane. We can talk about that. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good, how you guys doing? How are you?
I just have one question for Scott. Did I understand him to say we're not publicly broadcasting? And how does that work for a public meeting?
So we are recording it. We'll make we'll send the recording to the Franklin TV afterwards.
But anybody that wants to talk about any of the public meetings? So I think people can be on via the Zoom call, right? Oh, right. And Chris Bradaroli's here. I think we're not on Franklin Public TV. Good question, but we could clarify that.
I think you're broadcasting on Zoom, if that's considered broadcasting.
We're available through Zoom, but not on channel 26 on Verizon and whatever it is on Comcast. We'll make that. A good point. Thank you. So we'll make that the recording available, but it is live on the site. All right. So with that,
Good evening.
One Paddock Lane.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, folks. You got Chris Bradaroli, Goddard Consulting online.
Hey, Chris.
Let's see, I'm going to share my screen here. All right, can we see the site plan okay?
In a second, looks like it's coming out.
So
There it is.
what we
Yep.
got in printed here? No, that's another one. Hold on.
You're up.
All right, beautiful. Sorry, you guys are using a little bit of a new broadcasting system. You might be a little bit muffled.
Okay. Good to know.
I can mostly hear you okay though.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, forgive me if I missed something.
All good.
So for a little bit of recap here, where we've been, this is notice of intent for One Paddock Lane. We're proposing a single family dwelling here, new construction on a subdivided lot. So, typical kind of single family house box, garage partially under the structure, small driveway, retaining wall around a good chunk of the yard area here to limit the need for grading. We are still providing roof runoff infiltration subsurface here, as well as some stone swales alongside the driveway for purposes of collecting that runoff that might come from the driveway there. And as we had kind of been going through this process with you folks, it had become clearer and clearer that we probably weren't going to get very far proposing a house so close to the wetland here. So over the last several weeks, we have kind of switched gears a little bit. And at your last hearing about a month ago, we kind of discussed this version of the plan preliminarily. For all intents and purposes, this is the same plan that you saw 4 weeks ago. A little bit revised for clarity and detail, but generally the same scheme here. So in order to kind of adjust the location of buffer zones, we are proposing now to fill some of these higher portions of the BVW on site, as well as provide 2-to-1 replication in some existing upland areas. So what that kind of looks like, aside from what is going to ultimately be relatively minor grading, what that looks like is a pretty robust planting plan that we put together. So we have 3 replication areas, a little under 1,000 square feet, about 1,700 square feet, and about 1,850. The total just over 4,500 square feet in sum. So that is just slightly exceeding a 2-to-1 ratio. We are also proposing plantings in over 10,000 square feet of the buffer zone here. So primarily within the 0 to 25 and within portions of the 25 to 50 buffer zone as well. So basically everything down gradient outside of, it's actually covered up by these couple circles here, but there is a limit of lawn line that rings around the proposed yard area here. Everything outside of that little yard, yard area is going to be planted, revegetated, seeded, and returned to a native condition. So we've put together a planting schedule for both, obviously, the wetlands and the upland areas. And that is kind of what the scheme looks like at the moment. Again, we've kept basically everything as small as we possibly can get away with here. Over in this neighborhood, your distance from wetland line to edge of yard is about 38 feet. It narrows down a little bit over here, but it is generally about 38 feet for most of the perimeter of the yard area here. So by way of kind of summarizing that, Tyler had asked me to put together a little something depicting impacts and square footages. So the total impact to BVW is about 2,270 square feet. We are replicating at over a 2-to-1 ratio. And just a note for this, these are measured based only on the proposed lot 2 area and are based on the kind of quote unquote new buffer zones. There's a dozen different ways you can measure this, and at some point we have to just pick one. I felt like since we were adjusting the buffer zones, it made sense to quantify things this way. So again, about 2,200 square feet impact to BVW to be replicated. You're going to end up with more than twice as much wetland as was lost. Impacts in the 0 to 25 buffer zone, the no disturb zone, this is temporary only. The entire 0 to 25 is going to be seeded, replanted with trees and shrubs, all native species at the end of the day here, and you get a fully renaturalized no disturb zone at the end of the day. Buffer zone impacts in the 25 to 50 is about 2,775 square feet. And that's the permanent impact here. So again, about a similar number, about 2,700 square feet of that buffer zone is going to be renaturalized at the end of the day here. So about half of the 25 to 50 buffer zone is going to be developed at the end of the day, mostly lawn. Again, we have about 675 square feet of driveway that does clip in, but mostly vegetated still. And then about an equal square footage is going to be naturally vegetated. And then as we get a little further out, the way we've kind of designed this is to keep as much of our impact to the 50 to 100 foot buffer zone as we possibly can. So permanent impacts in the 50 to 100 are about 5,600 square feet. About 2,500 of that is proposed impervious. Obviously, the house, garage, portions of the driveway. Again, just want to reiterate, we are providing stormwater management as mitigation for those impervious surfaces. And there are some kind of perimeter areas here, kind of relatively negligible, but about 350 square feet to be planted and revegetated at completion. So kind of the difference being, a small lawn area in this zone. So hopefully that was a relatively clear overview of what we're working with here and where our proposal stands. I'm not sure if this is going to go through another round of peer review, but if there's any questions that the commission may have or things that the commission knows right off the bat that they're going to want to see changed or added or removed, we are all ears and happy to entertain any of that right now.
Chris, can you tell us a little bit more about the stormwater management?
Yeah, sure thing. So this and sorry, forgive me, I can't quite see. Is Paul in chambers?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah. So very broad overview. We've got roof leaders coming off of the structure, 4-inch PVC routed to a subsurface infiltration unit, detail of which is shown over here. And I believe this is sized to infiltrate a 1-inch rainstorm event. And I don't know if there's anything else to add to that, Paul, please do.
Yeah, no, it's, that's what you designed for roof runoff would be 1-inch storm, and we'll handle that. And then for the driveway, we have it slightly pitched to a swale with the check dam, so it will go slowly into the wetlands, or it won't be wetlands, it'll be vegetated area now, so.
Okay, thanks.
We also have, for construction purposes, you can see at the driveway entrance, we have that crushed stone, riprap type of stuff, just to prevent any silt from running out onto the road during the construction phase.
Any other question? Is the bulkhead still in the 25 to 50 foot zone?
Oh, sorry. So back here, yes, we do have just the bulkhead in one step to get down out of the back door that do still clip into that 50-foot buffer zone, correct?
And a good chunk of the wall, retaining wall is in that same zone?
Correct. Yep. But, aside from this sliver of driveway here, everything, well, I guess the sliver of driveway, the bulkhead and one stair, aside from those, everything in the 25 to 50 zone is vegetated.
And nothing's in the 0 to 25?
Correct. The entire 0 to 25 is naturally planted at the end of the day.
Temporary impact and then.
Right.
Yeah, right, yeah, okay.
Chris, I had a question about the replication area.
Sure thing.
So my understanding that it does take some time for the replication area to take and to I guess take act as what the wetlands were like before. Or the
Right.
area before. So what is that time period?
So it really varies and can be quite site specific. The standard monitoring period to make sure that we do get there is generally 3 years, and that's what we've included in our plan.
Thank you.
Is there any risk of runoff from the lawn over that bulkhead? Not bulkhead, but the retaining wall. How high is the retaining wall? 2
It's
feet?
approximately 2 feet.
Yeah, it's 2 feet at most.
Basically a decorative wall, but it will deter anybody from, grass clippings and stuff into the wetland areas. Just high enough to stop them.
Okay. But what about, could there be runoff going, causing erosion?
Very little, because it's only about a 12-foot strip of grass. The roof is gonna be taken into the infiltration. So you got about 10 to 12 feet of lawn between the wall and the house. And then after that, you got that, like 70 feet of vegetation for any water, any kind of, to purify anything going towards the wetlands. But the main concern will be just during construction, to stop anything from, any silt runoff. That will be our main concern at the time of construction, from anything going into the wetlands.
Now that wall. That's on the right hand side of your drawing. And that's it looks like it's 2 blocks high and then a 6-inch gap. Is that correct?
Yeah, you mean a gap?
cap.
Oh, cap, yes.
So, and the blocks look like they're 2 feet high each one.
Yeah, but the bottom block will be in the ground. The total top to the ground finished grade will be about 2 feet. Some places 1.8, some places 2.1, depending on the grade itself, but no more than over 2 feet. Counting the cap.
Then this pitches a little off then, was that, am I reading it right? In other words, the picture looks like it's 2 blocks high.
It is, but as you can see that the bottom block is in the ground.
Yeah.
I can't see that far, but I'm sure you guys can.
She's pointing to the line there. That's the grade.
The finished grade elevation then. So from there to the cap would be about 2 feet.
Okay. It looks like more in the picture, because the picture shows a full block. And at least half of another block, with a 6-inch cap.
Yeah, well, that's just a detail. The elevations will be, because they'll probably use those Allen blocks, which are only 1 foot blocks.
Okay, and like I said, the detail says 2H. 2 feet high. Okay.
So I had a question on the retaining wall there. So on your detail here, you say finished grade, you have the wall and then you have a 2 foot drop approximately. So just looking at the finished grade, it looks like it slopes to where it kind of
Well, from the
Comes-
wall, then it will slope towards the wet,
towards the wet.
yes,
Okay.
through all the vegetation.
And then you basically have it wrapped around.
Yeah, starting at the left front corner of the house, basically, or the garage, and then wrapping around and ending almost on the range of the house to the right.
So any water there is just gonna be free for the wet.
I'm sorry?
Any water that sloping to travel is gonna flow into the wetlands on the left side and then the north side.
There won't be hardly anything because there's only like a 10 to 12 foot separation between the house and the wall.
Okay.
So that's gonna be long.
Okay.
Okay, so as far as going from there to the wetlands, once it hits, if you have any water coming on the lawn going over the wall. It's a very little area, and then you have all that distance going to the wetlands, which is gonna be heavily vegetated.
Okay. So for any type of changes in your grade, is there any impact to the adjacent neighbor? As far as any changes with,
No, not
Oh,
really.
understand.
We're not directing anything towards her. The way the ground is right now out there, the existing grade is all flowing from the road into the wetlands on a gradual slope.
okay,
So we're just building up the pot in the middle and the slope going to the wetlands is gonna remain the same.
so one increase or do anything to their,
No. If we were gonna if we were taking the roof and just putting, downspouts
Mhm.
onto the lawn, that might create a little bit of water going in all directions. But we're putting that into the infiltration, so there won't be anything spreading out anywhere other than what's on the grass now.
okay. And I see that you size that, the retaining, it's for 1 inch rain.
Storm, yeah,
Yes, so
that's typical
that's typical.
for roofs, other impervious areas, roads, sidewalks, stuff like that, you do a higher rate.
Just kind of thinking, given the storms, how much water we're getting, or some of these higher storms.
We're getting a lot. But
Pretty
what,
much.
how this particular system works is, if you look at the detail, can you see the detail on the left-hand side of the plan there? You guys?
Yeah,
So if you look at the way the downspout comes into the system.
Yep.
There's of course, there's a cleaner at the bottom, but there's also a reverse Y at the top. See that?
Yep.
So what happens is if you get like monsoons and this particular unit can't handle it, what it will do is back up and then come out onto the lawn.
Yeah.
But that's in.
There's an overflow.
Majors, yeah. But the material out here on the soil charts, call for pretty decent material, so it should go in quickly.
Sure. Great. So on the planting plan, you can switch over to that. First. So
Yep.
you're,
You seen it?
yeah, you're putting in east white cedar along the edge of the property there. So,
Right.
on an earlier version, you didn't have the plantings like that. You had different plantings, but they continued all the way down. And any thoughts of continuing that? Just to kind of give.
You mean along this perimeter here?
Yeah, just to continue that on. Is that for, just so they can see getting out, or is there any way to?
Well, sorry, yeah, that is a part of the concern here. Also, I think there's probably gonna be a sliver here that's left relatively untouched during construction. So we had put in these white cedars here mostly for screening purposes. They're great screening trees and they are, for all intents and purposes, native, assuming you don't get the weird cultivars. So that's the purpose of this row of trees here. Out here, I really think that there's gonna be remaining vegetation left there. So this is still going to be seeded if there's any disturbance there. We could probably throw in a handful of, low growing shrubs there or something like that.
Also, maximizing vegetation in there, but also. Potentially providing some type of visual aesthetics to the home, to the adjacent property.
Right. Right.
It's gonna, will change your view, I mean, it's, we're also, I saw kind of like a. Non-use sliver there, I did see it on the earlier. Replication, we did have some like continuous planning there. It didn't look like it was done on this one, so.
Yeah, not really a particular reason for that. Just I believe that vegetation in that area will remain throughout construction. But we can throw a couple more shrubs in there, sure.
I think we probably talked about this last time, but any doubts about the keeping trees? I know it's all attempts will be made, but. And then, I didn't see anything on this plan, it's just, basically brand new vegetation, so. So,
Right,
Oh.
yeah, so I actually did go and do a pretty thorough tree inventory out there. We hadn't really gotten so far as to quantify or identify what's what in terms of, well, this can probably stay, this one probably can't. So that is, information that we have in the back pocket and can begin to incorporate into this as we continue to flush it out.
There,
Just,
yeah, no,
just to follow on that thought, it would be a shame to cut down a bunch of trees just to plant new stuff. So I agree, anyway, to save existing trees.
I think you ought to go look at the trees.
Right.
Driving by some over there, some of those trees aren't worth saving.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees
You
being
would
choked
want
out.
to do, if engineers looked at them, we would want to do a value. Whether this one's worth savings or whether it's just about ready to fall down, because if you look down there, we got a lot of broken trees. Laying, hung up into live ones. So, the engineer has done a little bit of work on the, what's good tree and what isn't a good tree. There's a lot of trees out there also.
Right.
So if we cut a few down, I don't think you're gonna, so,
Anyway, I haven't heard them talk about that, so.
yeah.
Well,
Well, you should.
during the construction phase, we're definitely gonna try to save as many trees as we can. We don't wanna be digging around a tree, kill the roots and leave it standing, because then that could be a problem for him.
We wouldn't want to arbitrarily just cut a tree down just
Right,
because
we're gonna, when they start construction, we'll get the erosion control and then, they'll be out there digging. And if we can save some trees, we definitely will, especially some nice big ones, for sure.
If Chris has a idea of what's out there, then that'd be nice to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have some of that information that we'll work on weaving into this. To a certain extent, it's a little tricky until you start putting machines out there and you could say, well, we can grade around this one, we can't grade around that one. As a minor deviation from whatever proposed contours are shown on the plan. So we'll do our best to identify which ones we think can be saved and which ones we think can't be. But you're right, there's a smattering of broken and leaning and entirely dead trees. And to tell you the truth, there's kind of a weird spot basically right where the house is. That's kind of a little bit of a clearing actually. So there's kind of a couple of large trees, but really not much, in the understory or in way of early successional trees. So there's certainly a full canopy here, but I think the tree removal that's going to end up needing to happen is probably less than we're thinking.
I think anything outside the retaining wall there would be something you would pay special attention to in terms of trying to keep.
We talked.
Absolutely, yeah.
Keep them. Lost that leaning.
If they're keepable.
Yes.
They're.
Anybody online or here in the chambers have a comment or input? All right, so here's what I suggest. So
This
thanks
is-
for the,
This is John Detterman. Sorry, I have a couple questions if I can.
oh, yeah, no, that's what we were asking for. Go ahead, John.
Um, the house as it is shown, how has that changed through the iterations of the drawings?
We've downsized from the first drawings that we brought in, the house is small.
Well, we took out the front door on the side and the walkway, we made the entrance in the front, so. It's actually a little bit more. You know,
But we made the house,
Shrunk down.
we shrunk it down, yeah.
I think he's probably just gonna how many square feet.
Sorry,
From the
that's
first-
what I'm trying to figure out measurement wise. Where did we start with the house and where is it now?
To be honest with you, I don't remember what the size of the first one we did, but I know with the owner
I think
working
we-
back and forth, making the house small, we made it small.
we made it small from the back, so that we had to take out less. Of that little sliver of wetlands. We shrunk that down by pulling
Yeah, I shrunk it both ways.
both ways.
Yeah.
If the commission would be agreeable, could we get more concrete numbers surrounding that?
We can give you what it is now.
No, I understand, but what over the course of several meetings, there were several asks to have different configurations presented with the garage, for instance, and I haven't seen those changed. And I'm not doubting that it's smaller, but I'm just trying to understand by how much, because you're still, even with the fabricated buffers, you're still bumping right up against them. And I'm trying to figure out how much effort has been made with the house.
Yeah,
I'd
so-
honestly Go back to the first plan that we did, I still have it.
Yeah, so right now, the house itself, the footprint is in the neighborhood of 1,900 square feet. And again, if memory serves, I don't have it in front of me. We were, I want to say around 22.5 initially, somewhere in that. So we're a few hundred square feet smaller than we initially proposed.
So
Again, I'm speaking off the cuff, so I apologize if those numbers aren't perfectly accurate, but something to that effect.
but can we take that as a to-do so that we all know what the change has been?
I can go back. I can't answer that. I didn't.
No, I understand it can't be answered now. I'm asking the commission's agreement that at a future meeting, we'll know where it started and what this proposal is. Because it seems to me like there's still plenty of opportunity to manipulate the size of the house so that the bulkhead isn't where it is. And maybe the garage, maybe it does, maybe there shouldn't be a garage. And then the house could be shifted.
It can't be, I mean, as far as shifting it, right now, we're pretty tight to the property line. The setbacks are 40 feet in this zone, 40 feet from the street and 40 feet from the property line.
Yeah.
It's the big zone.
Yeah,
So
so I'm just asking where it started, where it is now, and then perhaps there's an opportunity for further discussion, perhaps not.
Chris, would you be able to pull up, the drawing for I guess really the first revision?
I can, yeah, give me a second.
It doesn't have to be tonight if we just take it as a to-do.
Yeah, we can make that happen. Yes.
Great.
Generally speaking, we're a couple hundred square feet smaller, I do believe.
And we
But
took
yeah,
the-
I suppose if there's,
Yeah.
The deck is gone.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did eliminate the deck as well. Yeah, I suppose if there's a desire to rehash that, we can do that.
So then, the question was asked earlier, the time frame to full remediation, right? And 3 years, I guess, is your target to have it considered full remediation. I find that very short, but in reading through the documentation, there's a requirement that reports are provided to the Conservation Commission. I think it's through the first 24 months, first 2 years, I think. And-
Yes, so that is all pretty standard. This is not strictly codified in the Wetlands Protection Act, but there is a DEP guidance document on inland wetland replacement. And that's kind of what has emerged as the status quo for these types of projects is 2 or 3 years of monitoring with spring and fall inspections and reports provided to the commission, basically to make sure that the work that we did is coming to fruition as it was intended to. So
it is codified in the Franklin bylaws, though.
Okay, I didn't realize there was a strict monitoring requirement codified in the bylaw there. But in any event, that is included in our proposal.
Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe it's codified in the Franklin bylaw. So my question is, if the ownership of the property changes, where does responsibility for that lie?
So the permit travels with the land. So whoever owns the land owns that responsibility.
Yeah,
So-
the other thing that might be helpful to know is, what we'll typically do with something like this is put together, some standard special conditions, right? That would include things like that. It will be part of the public record, and then to Chris's point, they're attached to the title of the land.
I own wetlands and there's nothing in my title that says anything about the wetlands. That's what I'm trying to understand, that.
Well,
um,
so,
Yep.
yeah, what we're talking about here is a project, right? So these would be conditions. The conditions aren't attached to the wetlands, and maybe saying it's attached to the land, the conditions are attached to the project, if approved, right? We're not saying it's approved, but if it does get approved, and typically get approved with some standard and special conditions that then follow the ownership of the land. So if you hadn't had any type of development that would have had to come before the Conservation Commission or, ZBA or planning zoning that would have required approval, then there wouldn't, you wouldn't see something like those conditions attached. Is
Yeah.
help answer the question?
So a buyer could come into this totally educated, if you will. There's nothing about the sale of the house that would tip a buyer off that they were responsible for this. Am I right?
Well, I mean, any good closing attorney would turn this up in a title search.
Show it.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, John. We just, give you an example, last week, we had a property owner come in here that was looking to sell his land, found out 2 weeks before the closing, he had conditions that were established in 1996, okay?
Well,
And he couldn't, he had to come in here, now it was an easy issue to rectify, right? But typically, when people go to sell property, a good realtor, a real estate attorney will do a title search. And these conditions will come up as being attached to the title, and it does come up, just to the example I gave you, and we see that periodically, a historical thing that's been missed, and then when the land goes to be sold, it'll come up. So it does follow, and becomes part of a potential sale if it hasn't been resolved.
So the new owner is responsible to pay our good friend Chris to do this inspection and reporting to the town of Franklin.
Yeah,
Correct, yeah. If they wanted to remain in compliance with their permit, yes, they would pay me or some other wetland scientist to follow the plans that were approved.
And what is the prompt? Does the commission have a, you know, sort of a tickler file of who's due for reporting when, or is it the honor system that the owner says this is the first spring, I need to do a report?
We do keep track of it, John, but to the point of the example I just used, you know, the ultimate safety net, if you will, is the next sale of the house or the property or whatever it is, would come up with an open order of conditions, right? That's not what we look to wait for or what anybody wants, but it does provide an ultimate safety net that the property can't be sold again if these conditions haven't been closed out in a certificate of occupancy issued, right? That's a process you know, potentially a project can be approved, there's open orders and conditions. And once those are satisfied and people come in and we do have a timeline, we look for that and people come back, applicants come back, give us information on how they've satisfied the conditions. A lot of times photos are involved, sometimes site visits. And then we all agree that the conditions we laid out have been satisfied. We order a certificate of occupancy. That's the general plan. But if something goes awry, right, I'm not saying we're perfect, but we're usually pretty on top of this stuff, and people like Chris are as well. You know, your ultimate safety net is that the property can't ever be sold again until the certificate of occupancy is issued.
So that would be the second buyer going to the third.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the goal, right? But I'm just saying that's like the backup plan, right? I'm just saying we have a backup plan.
Yeah.
It's not the primary plan. It doesn't happen often. You know, I don't know, once in a while, we get something that comes our way that, you know, like I said, 1996, you know, none of us were around then, but I'm just telling you this is
Yeah.
stuff.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so,
We have to sign off on the order of conditions. All these conditions have to be met before we, as the commission, will sign off and say, you've done everything that you were supposed to in these order of conditions.
And-
So, yes, we're going to inspect it. We're going to know that it's all been done before we sign off on it.
Yep.
And nobody wants to leave these things hanging out there as a property owner. Or, you know, someone like Chris who works with the applicants, right? Because then you're creating a bigger problem downstream where you're dealing with historical stuff. So typically between all of us involved, I would say these things come through because it's just easier to deal with it now and smarter than let it linger.
Yep. And if there is any way to identify the trees that should and hopefully could be saved, that would be very helpful. Obviously, things happen during construction, but if there is some tagging or some agreement on those, that would be very helpful. And if I can just ask somebody to run through the variances that are being requested again in each of the, so in the wetland and then, you know, each of the zones out.
Right, so we necessarily need to request waivers from provisions of the bylaw for number one, work in the wetland. Number two, disturbance in the 0 to 25 foot buffer zone. And number three, a portion of impervious or you know, kind of built environment work in the 25 to 50 foot buffer zone. We've kept those as minimal as we can, and we're requesting a waiver because we have tried to A, avoid, B, minimize, and C, now we're at the point of mitigation for those impacts.
So the commission can grant those waivers on two conditions, right? And I'm curious which of the conditions is being considered to grant the waivers?
Essentially, the proposed replication, John.
That I don't see that codified in the town bylaw. I know that it's a state thing, but in the town bylaw, the variances are pretty clearly stated. And the process and the reasons for the variances.
You know, I would say, you know, historically and typically, we've looked at replication as a potential rationale for approving something like this if we did.
So I'm not saying that the bylaw is correct, but the town bylaw states the variance procedure and the reasons that are acceptable to grant the variance, and replication isn't one of them.
Well, we have state and local bylaws. We
Right.
can-
So the
So-
local supersede the state, right?
Sarah,
I think they tend to work collaboratively is a better way to describe it. You know, there are different clubs in the bag. You know, we got 3 clubs in the bag, right? Federal Wetlands Protection Act. You know, the state level statutes, which are primarily codified in CMR 310, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Our students will look good. And then the local bylaws and guidelines. So we work with all 3 of those. Yeah.
I guess I need to do some more research because, you know, these bylaws are listed in the town code, just like any other law of the town, regardless of what the state law says.
So, you know, maybe specifically, John, can you outline the details of what you're talking about? I kind of feel, I mean, I've got the bylaws and guidelines printed off. I bring them to every meeting, but it might be helpful if you could detail what you're looking at, and then, you know, we'll I think we're dancing around this thing, so.
Yep. Give me just 1 second. So the variance procedure, the commission may grant a variance from these regulations when necessary to avoid, the commission may grant a variance from these regulations upon showing by the applicant that any proposed work or its natural and consequential impacts will not have adverse effect upon the interests protected in chapter 181. And the other reason is so as to not constitute an unconstitutional taking of the land.
Right, so, you know, and I think when you talk, and look, I'm not an attorney here, right? But I'll give you an opinion, right? You talk about an adverse impact, and that's, you know, you've been to, I think, almost all of these hearings and these meetings, right? And that's been the ultimate goal here, is to mitigate adverse impact. You know, these guys reduce the footprint, they've moved the building around. And then at the end of the day, there's an argument to be made that we will end up with more wetlands resources as a result of this than we have now, right? So is having more wetlands than before an adverse impact? I'd probably say no, right? And that's, again, where the state and the local bylaws come in and start working collaboratively. You know, and you also read a very germane point here, right, regarding a taking. You know, that's why we try and spend so much time on this. If we just arbitrarily said, hey, you know, we don't want you to develop this land, right, without a good basis and without trying to work through the process, you know, preventing somebody from economically developing their land could potentially be considered a taking. So that's where you get into this collaborative approach and where replication often becomes. a
But
big-
I haven't heard that discussion of the unconstitutional taking at all in this process, and I don't think that that could stand in this case because many of us in this area have wetlands on our property that we know can't be developed. So we don't need to belabor the point, but the town code says that you can grant a variance in those two situations, and filling the wetlands is a consequential impact, if you will. I mean, it's not an oops, it's a, we're gonna back a truck up and we're gonna dump stuff here. So I won't belabor that, but the other 2 points are just bearing in mind that this is the same governing body that came to me because somebody dumped organic yard waste on my property and threatened me with fines, and now we're giving somebody permission to back trucks up and annihilate an area. And my last point is, I think there were points made in a couple meetings that there are no storm drains on Beach Street, and that is not accurate.
There are no catch bases on that street.
There are.
There are drains that that empty into that wetlands, but there are no catch basins. It's brought way up the street. Nothing in this area.
So,
Okay.
so I guess I don't understand the distinction that there are no drains on Beach Street, but there are catch basins.
There are
No catch basins.
Sorry, the other way around.
The catch basins would collect the water and direct it somewhere. If you go up and down that street, there are no catch basins, not until you get way up near, the street that crosses,
Pine,
Pine Street.
Pine.
On its way down towards Pond Street,
That way.
that way.
There are, I don't know what you call them, grates that look like what I would generically call sewers on Beach Street.
There is sewer. You are correct.
Okay. So I don't remember why that came up as significant, but I just raised that point.
The road drainage is draining onto my client's property. There's no berm along the street to avoid that. It's just emptying down into the property. And somebody on this panel wanted to know if we could correct that. And it's in the layout, so we really can't.
Okay. I think that's all for now. So I just want to make sure this is going to peer review, right?
So you've done, I'm gonna talk about that, John, but that's beyond that, that's the end of the questions you have. So-
It is. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I'll talk about the peer review in a second, John, so we'll get to that. Anybody else online that would like to ask questions or comment about One Paddock Lane? Okay, so, what I'd suggest is, and I do think we wanna have, Beta take another look at this. Just to make sure we didn't miss anything, and then, normally from their peer review, that helps us script any conditions that we need, right?
Sure.
So that would be our next step. What I'd say is, and that's a recommendation, but wanna make sure everybody's comfortable with that. Don't wanna have to, we're not making a decision to approve or deny this now, but if you see a major issue, I don't wanna get all the way into the weeds of the bed, if that's just kind of spitting in the wind, so to speak. So, everybody feel good about having Beta take a look at this, see what needed in condition, when we feel, there's some kind of hard issue here that you can't see beyond, and that's fine, right? And if you're undecided, that's fine as well. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but that'd be my recommendations. Have Beta take a look at it, see what they come back with, see if we missed anything. And then use that for the basis for conditions if they don't see any major handcuffs as a potential to move forward.
I'm good with that.
I do see a hang up, the half the driveway and the bulkhead are in the 25 to 50 foot. I'm not sure the bylaw allows for that.
I believe your bylaw says structures, the driveway wouldn't be considered a structure. The bulkhead, that's a good question. The bulkhead,
Bylaw says, footings and foundation.
which is a,
Slabs and then
yeah,
floor.
but it wouldn't count for the driveway. I can't answer the bulkhead. That's a real good question. If we have to shift the bulkhead to the front, we can.
It says, no structures included but not limited to concrete, stone, or other impervious foundations or slabs for construction purposes.
Yeah, structure. That's, the big one is structure, and that's. I don't know if you consider a bulkhead a structure. I can ask Gus, he'll tell me. That's something for him to.
Good question.
Well, we can move that. That's a problem. If he comes back and says that's part of the structure, we can move it.
Okay.
I
Excited. Okay.
I have a problem with I'm the one that mentioned the stormwater money.
On the road, okay, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, so that is my biggest concern because I understand, I mean, what you have done with the plans is great. You are trying to replicate the wetlands and whatnot, but my biggest issue is that water that's gonna be flowing into the wetlands, into the replicated area, which isn't going to be established, and it's gonna take 3 years for it to be established.
Well,
That's my biggest
what
problem.
we could do, I don't know if the town would let us, but we could put a small berm along the road just to deter water while this project is going on and then remove it. We couldn't put what should be there is a berm, is what should be there, Cape Cod or vertical berm.
From the street? Are we talking
Yeah.
about water from the street?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So we're gonna penalize them for the street?
I'm not penalizing anyone. What
No,
I-
but I
well,
mean,
no, it's
we're
a,
gonna say. It's a problem.
well, she has a pretty good concern.
Well, yeah,
The
but
replication
the
area
street
that's
is-
close to the road may be
is
interrupted with heavy rains from the
town
road.
property.
And I agree with you, that could happen,
And it's gonna flood out your replication area.
exactly.
And that is my concern.
So would erosion controls be,
I'd rather put some material there.
okay.
It needs some.
Where
What
would
they
you put
should
it?
put is a berm, a Cape Cod or doing this berm along that section,
Where would you put the berm? On the street?
just off the edge of the road.
So you'd put some curbing out on the
Not
road?
curbing, but material, like stone or something to stop the water from rushing into the
Oh, okay.
park.
something dense, a dense
Yeah.
material.
You know, but again, I'd have to go to the highway department.
Yes, you would.
See if they will let me do that, but we could do it, we have no problem doing that, and it's a great
Could
idea.
could the berm be placed on the property?
We're really tight up front there.
I mean, it should be a paved thing, is what it should be. You know, maybe, I can go and talk to the DPW, he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, it's just all the work that you're doing in the replication area. I mean, we have one giant, rain event again, and it's just, everything's gonna be washed out and.
No, I
It's
agree, I agree with you.
A
Yeah.
point. We're not. Taking the quantity of water and reducing it. The water that's gonna fall on the street is gonna go somewhere.
All
So
right,
if we put. We put a berm up or Cape Cod berm or a curb, whatever, it's probably gonna flow right down the street. Exit into the wetlands.
Right.
When it. Gets beyond the curb line,
right,
it's
But-
not gonna go through the replication area, true,
right.
but all that water is still gonna go.
Oh, it's
into the
definitely gonna go into the wetlands, there's no question about it, but, she has a
But
point as
isn't
far as
that what the
protecting the.
wetlands?
That's the purpose of the wetlands, but if you're sitting there and you're gonna fill in the wetlands and then you're putting in a replication area. That has to take hold, and it's gonna take 3 years for that to take hold. That's the biggest issue, and it's so close to the Charles, I mean, I know it's not.
I agree with you.
Close to the Charles River, but it is very close and.
All
we're
right,
trying
just as
to-
long as we understand the
No.
water, all that water is still going in.
Exactly,
Okay.
I'm only talking a small section of,
Well, if you can put a curb
something, I
So-
mean,
That'd be Jake.
See a catch basin, in my opinion, somewhere, if we could filter the water somewhere, and then the catch basin would catch that, and then filter it out.
Yeah, but
That
what-
would be the best, that is like the perfect scenario.
you're right, a
But
a couple of catch basins with some sumps in it would be the ideal
Is
situation.
there a drain pipe in there?
There is, it's under the road, and we don't know where it comes from, because there's a catch base, I mean, a drain manhole across the street. I think it comes from the yards up across the street and up into the backyards. I think that's where it comes from. But you're right, a couple of catch basins at the low spot of that road with sumps in the
Yeah.
basins would be ideal, but again, that's a big project and, you know, something the town will probably have to do. But temporarily, if we put something along the edge of the road just to protect our replication area, a short distance, that would be ideal.
So we talked with some projects about putting sedges in to help break up water flow. I mean, you can visualize the situation there. We put some sedges in along the road. I mean, do you think that would, or is it just not gonna stop?
Yeah, I'd see, there's
So-
nothing, there's nothing
I-
new but gravel along the edge, there's nothing,
It'd die.
there is some vegetation.
Yeah, I'm not sure that kind of between the road and the wetland area is. It's not the most conducive to planting, just being kind of a gravelly roadside area there, but the seed mix we're proposing in the wetland itself does include a few species of sedge. So at least within the replication area, you can be pretty confident that there's gonna be some sedges growing in there.
If we were to go that route, if. We definitely don't want to direct water to 153 Beach Street. The direct neighbor. I don't know which way the road pitches.
I think it
Pitching
kind
down.
of goes
Towards,
past the neighbor, not
Towards my house, I
Yeah.
think.
it's pitching down towards.
The existing,
Yeah, it's pitching towards your house.
right,
Okay.
and then.
So I can talk to the DPW, he's a great guy, and see if he let us, just put something there, just. You know, for a couple of years, that
You shouldn't object to that. Maybe.
Well, I need some, I mean, unfortunately, there's so many, like Maple Street is terrible, like there's no, something needs to happen with all the runoff and it's just.
well, maybe I can talk to him in just a couple of catch basins.
that would be
We might have a
nice.
couple down the yard, and his guys are eager.
Yeah, it would be nice, but
Okay.
And I'll talk to Gus about the bulkhead. I'll take care of those two items.
Okay. All right, good question. All right, so I think we got some takeaways, and take a look at it. And, not sure if we'll have a peer review back by, next Thursday, but so we'll back next meeting, or we have some answers to those questions.
We'll have the answers for you.
All right, well,
Absolutely.
let's plan on talking about that at that meeting then at least.
Alrighty.
What's in there?
Can you also add in the feedback, the difference between the first iteration of the house square feet and the
Yes.
new one?
Yes,
Cause I know it's gonna probably come up again.
yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Wish I had that answer for you tonight.
I think Chris would help us out because we're all visual learners. If you can put that on the plan, just to the left, what the original concept was and to the right. What we're at now. And then.
Yeah,
also-
I could maybe do a little overlay or color up or something like that.
Yeah, and then drop in the square footage of deltas.
Yeah, I think I can do that.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. So with that, we will look to continue this to July 24th at 7:01. Give us
I'll
a,
give you a motion to continue. The,
Oops.
what is
NOI.
the NOI for Paddock Lane, for one Paddock Lane to July 24th at 7:01.
Second.
Vote to continue.
Continue.
Vote to continue, continue,
continue.
right? Continue.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate your
Appreciate
time.
it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, with that, we will, actually have three requested continuances in a row. We've got 100, 102 Panther Way, requested continuance till July 24th. Well, you want to give me a continuation on that?
I vote to continue the NOI for 100, 102 Panther Way.
Motion,
What's that?
want to make a motion?
Yeah, he's motioning. Is that, we did.
What did you wanna do it?
No, he was saying he votes to continue, and I just.
Make a motion.
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't,
no.
I didn't hear that. Thank
Okay.
you, Richard.
All right, let's start that again. I make a motion.
Good catch.
Good catch. I make a motion to continue the NOI for 100, 102 Panther Way for July 24th at 7:02 PM.
I second that. Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue,
Continue.
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 All right. And then we've got 444 East Central Street. Michael, you want to give us a motion to continue that?
Sure, I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 444 East Central Street to July 24th at 7:03.
Second that?
Second.
All right.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
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 All right, and the final one, Roger, you want to give us this one is 260 Daniels Street.
I'll make a motion to continue the NOI for 260 Daniel Street until July 24th at 7:04.
You got it.
Got it.
Second that?
Second,
All right,
vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
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 All right, continue. Oops. All right, now we are on to the ANRAD for 731 King Street. Anybody here from 731 King? All right.
All these small colonial engineering,
Oh, good to see you again.
they go far.
That look familiar?
So I did get a copy of the peer review for the ANRAD, Beta.
David.
I read through it. They had a lot of concerns about things that we didn't ask them to do, but, that's okay. They had questions on 5 of the flags. Our wetland scientist, her name is Karen Skinner.
Yep.
She's the conservation agent for the town of Westwood, did all the flagging. There was over 150 flags out there she set. So they had concerns with 5 of them. She just came back from vacation Monday. She told me she would go out Friday and check those 5 flags. They also had a
Yeah,
concern.
well, just and we've got Anna online from Beta, right? Anna, you're with us?
Yep, hi.
Yeah, hey, Anna. Yeah, I think we thought we saw some hydric soil and some plants.
Karen will check it.
Okay.
She, no
Yeah,
problem.
exactly.
The numbers are in the report. Perfect. She's all set. The other concern I saw was the perennial, the intermittent stream. So Karen, so I sent them to Tyler, the stream calcs, and it was, I think, 0.26 square miles of runoff, and you require 0.50 to be a river. So it's an intermittent stream. We gave that stuff to Tyler.
Anna, does that, I don't think you've seen that. Does that make sense what you're hearing?
Yeah, it was more just the bank and land underwater approval, rather than the question of intermittent or perennial.
That was a DEP comment, I think, was the intermittent stream.
But so she clarified that.
Okay,
The rest of the stuff in the report, we don't have any topo yet, because we haven't proposed anything. We just wanted the flags reviewed and approved. And those 5, Karen will take care of.
all right, and Anna, do you want to elaborate on the land underwater?
Yeah, we, approval of bank and land underwater were just not, included in the request.
And
So
you guys,
they would
I
just
just-
not be able to be approved unless bank was, delineated at the site.
you guys aren't interested in having that?
No, when right now, we just want the buffer zone, the wetlands delineated and approved.
Okay,
Then what our next deal is with the Delaco family is to come up with some kind of schemes on how to develop the property. So once we get down to either doing a crossing or getting within the wetland areas, we will identify the brook, the banks and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
we just, right now at this point, We just want to verify the flags.
Okay,
And Karen, like I said, she hung over 150 of them, so.
just want to make sure. And it looked like there was some administrative stuff on the plan. Easy to rectify.
I didn't read the whole, I was just looking for the big
Yeah.
items. Since that was-
There was provided a north arrow with source reference, survey benchmark.
Yeah, state plan.
I mean, kind of, again, topographic contours. The wetlands were just marked as general wetlands versus bordering or isolated. So, we just get.
Yeah, well, when I haven't, I just got that the other day and I hadn't had a chance to read it.
Don't worry, all right.
I'll sit down,
Okay,
but I'll wait for Karen to come back with, if she moves any of those flags, and then, we'll put them on the plan where they should be if they're moved.
okay.
Not a problem.
And any other comments? I think we captured it, right?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay,
It's pretty straightforward.
yeah. Any questions or comments from the commission? Okay. Anybody online, regards to, 631 King Street? All right, so with that, we'll, continue till next meeting, right?
Yep.
Hope to hear back on those follow-up pieces.
Yep, and then, I'll have it ready for you by then.
All right, thanks.
Alrighty, sweet.
All right,
Thank you.
Paul, you wanna give us
Thanks,
a
Doug.
continuation?
I made a continuation for ANRAD, at 731 King Street.
Till 7:24 and 7:05.
Excuse me, 724,
7:05.
705.
All right,
Second. Or to continue.
Vote to continue.
vote to continue.
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 All right,
All right, thank you.
thanks, Paul. Good night. All right, final public hearing we had was an NOI for 21 Grove Street, and they requested a continuation as well. So Richard, you're back on deck for,
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 21 Grove Street to July 24th at 7:06.
all right, second that,
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
continue,
Continue.
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 Right. That wraps up our public hearings, and next we're on to MBZA's, and the first one we have is 12 Quarry Way. Is there anybody here from 12 Quarry Way? Doesn't look like.
I don't know if you'd want me to say anything. This would just be following the tree removal that they had previously been before
Oh, that's
meeting
right.
to inquire about.
Yeah, these have been taken down, right?
It's just something we.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a great three trees one next to the shed and a hanging branch.
Thanks,
Early three trees and a hanging limb.
I think Anna had been out there, you had said they seemed like a hazard, so Mark and I think Jeff at the time had authorized them to remove them before they fall down. This would be like an after effect.
And any comment on that you recall? I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but give you a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. They looked as though they were a hazard, so I think we gave them prior approval.
Yep.
So
All right, any questions, issues? All right, who's want to give us a motion to approve the MBZA for 12 Quarry Way?
I give you a motion to approve the MBCA for 12 Quarry Way.
Second. Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve. Approve. Right, approve. Next, we're on to the MBZA for 5 Spruce Pond. Anybody here from, Dennis?
Yes.
Yeah, it is 5 Spruce Pond. How you doing?
Good.
Actually, you've got Spruce Pond and Beverly Common Falls, right? You done that guy?
Yeah, so 5 Spruce Pond, 60 Bayberry.
Yep.
Replacing the decks, same size, posting down, hand dig 2 footings.
And are there footings now or is it?
No, it's a cantilever deck on a beam, but they're rotted out. No way to replace a beam, so now we post them down.
So you put posts in.
Yeah, we've done it several times.
Yeah, well, look at that rod, that's not good. Okay. Um. Yeah. Any questions or issues?
Yeah.
So you're just gonna post right down. Make it.
2 footings hand dug, 48 inches.
Yeah.
Concrete sound tubes.
Michael, you wanna give us a motion to approve the MBZA for 5 Spruce Pond Road?
Make a motion to approve the MBZA for 5 Spruce Pond Road.
Second,
All right,
vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
vote to approve. Approve. All right, set. Any questions on 60 Bayberry, same thing, same development? Okay. Roger, you're up.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 60 Bayberry Common, MBZA.
Second that,
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
vote to approve.
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 All right. Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it.
good.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Have fun.
Will do.
All right, next we've got 21 Echo Bridge Road. Hello. Hello.
Tom Brewer.
Their corner of property.
Later. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Thanks for coming in. Give us just a quick rundown of what you're looking to accomplish here?
Well, we,
Actually, before that, can you state your name
Oh,
for the record?
Tom.
good.
And address?
Thomas Brewer. 21 Echo Bridge.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Well, I guess, we built a big shed on our lot, a number of years ago. We've been there 34 years. The shed isn't quite that old, but, the trees have grown tremendously around it since then. And we're having trouble with the moss growing on the roof. And the east and the north sides, the shed are rotting away. We had to replace, trim boards, and I've been epoxying, patching the holes in the siding and things like that. It's all because of the moisture created by the trees. That, the wood won't dry out. So
Is this,
it's been painted for years.
is this in Charles River?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah, I know what that is.
it's on the corner.
He's got plenty of trees in the yard, so.
And I also had pointed out to this one when we were making a determination on what type of filing they should make, so I didn't include her notes from here, but Anna is here. Anyone had any questions about this site?
and the trees are in the 50 to 100 foot.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And any further comments?
Yeah, they're in a landscaped area, so it's mostly just mulch around them. Yeah, and I think I had recommended just leaving the stumps in place.
I intend to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Put a planter on them.
Any questions, issues? No. All right, cool, you're up. Want to give us a motion to approve the MBZA for 21 Echo Bridge Road?
I give you a motion to approve the MBZA on 21 Echo Bridge Road.
Second. Vote to approve.
To approve.
Approve. Approve. All right, cool. Thanks for coming in to walk us through it. We appreciate you taking the time.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right, and then we've got
So speaking of trees, did anybody see the tree that fell down on the corner of the common?
no?
When
Yeah.
is this?
So
Corner of High Street and Union.
there's a house there. There's a huge oak tree in its front yard, like 10 feet from the front door. And it just came down like inches. It knocked out one screen from the window, but the whole front lawn is covered by the top of this tree. So, the trees should not be close to houses.
Yeah.
No, it's It's real exciting when one of those buggers comes down
Yeah.
and it misses your house by about that much.
Yeah.
This is like a miracle.
Yeah, I had one come down that hurricane years ago.
Whoa. That house could have been demolished.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway,
I don't think we're picking up. I think it's,
When it captures the, oh, it's not.
I
Because
don't
we
think,
zooming in at me,
I don't think these are live. I thought.
No,
You're just more photogenic.
I guess so. If you were talking and it was like, 75%.
Yeah, I moved it out of the way because I thought it was that thing. Maybe.
yeah, it's a very motion bias towards distance, so when I scratch my nose, it turns itself straight towards me, even if you guys are over there waving your arms.
Busy day over here.
It's the AI. Still gotta work out.
All right, so now we're on to the MBZA for 381 Prospect Street. Have anybody here for 381 Prospect? I thought he was gonna come in.
Yeah, he had dropped it off. I think there had been some email correspondence letting him know about attending the meeting.
Yeah.
I do recall had you said that you had seen some
Yeah,
updates
yeah, I
since-
sent him a note, so they did move, looks like they moved the material away from the wetlands, which is good. What I had done is I sent him a note, I asked him to send pictures of.
Well, this is, we saw,
Right, this is something we
Yeah,
discussed
that-
after
that's,
this
that's
meeting.
when it was there. Interestingly enough, I think after I sent him an email, said, hey, can you send pictures of it removed and what you did to remove it? I noticed a wheelbarrow there a couple of days in a row. So I think I saw that. I mean, he didn't, look, it looked like he got the turf out of it. You can see the turfs rolled up. It's his expensive.
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work to put your expensive turf in there. So, we expected he was gonna come in, so I'd say we continue, because I mean, I've driven by it a couple times, but I'd like him to come in and talk about what we're doing.
Did he correct it?
I'd say it looks.
He worked on it.
Yeah, that's a
There's some
better
activity in there.
yeah, so, at any rate. I sent him an email, his response was a thumbs up, so. I thought he was coming in, we'll see what happens. I'll send him
Well,
a
he's
note.
working with a number 2 shovel and a wheelbarrow, it's probably gonna take a little bit
Yeah,
longer.
I mean, it looks a lot better, but all right, I'll send him another note.
So we're looking for 2 thumbs
All right. So Richard, you're up. Can you give us a motion to continue the
I
MBZA?
certainly will. I'll give you a motion to continue the MBZA for 381 Prospect Street until July 24th at,
I don't think we need to do a time on those.
no,
I don't think so.
no, July 24th.
There you go.
Vote.
Second
Second
that?
that.
Yep,
Vote. Vote to continue.
Well, to continue.
continue,
continue.
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 all right. Continue. We've got the minutes, if you recall last time, we didn't approve June 12th because the elections had not made it in, they are in there now, I also read through the 26th. If you guys have any thoughts, or you think we're good there? All right, Lou, you wanna give us a motion to approve the June 12th minutes?
So we have, I give you a motion to approve the June 12 minutes.
Second?
Vote to approve.
Approved.
Approve. All right, and then, Michael, you wanna give us a motion to approve the June 26th minutes?
I'll give you a motion to approve the minute of June 26th, 2025.
Second?
Vote to approve.
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 Approved.
All right, they're approved. Site visits. Anna, any update on any site visits? I think we have one, right?
Yeah, we just had one this week or last week I did it, but it was at 51 Dover Circle, which is a MBZA project, and it was just for tree removal. I have a bunch of pictures if I know you guys like pictures here. So here are the locations where the trees were removed. And they left all the stumps in place. I counted, it was the correct amount of trees. And then it looked like no other vegetation was disturbed. in the area. So, and there's the trees out in the front lawn.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's all my pictures.
I believe they were just looking to make sure that they had no additional work needed to be done with their MBZA. Confirming with us up there, all sets.
Okay,
Looks like they did what they were supposed
yeah,
to do.
yeah, so, good.
In case I can send them a note saying the commission, or
Yeah.
an email saying the commission.
Yeah, appreciate you checking back with us. So, all right, and thank you, Anna, for going out, so. we're
Yeah, no
good on
problem.
that. Elkhart, the service company's going out to treat the water, just wanted to let you know. We asked them to give us a heads up when they're going to do that, so that's coming up.
Yeah, I think it's July 14th is their next treatment. They did the first one.
Yeah.
25th.
How do they access it? They go into the playground area and go out in a boat or something?
They use the gates over by the side one, actually, yeah, so we just coordinate with DPW to make sure that they can access.
They
through
can
there.
get
Oh, they
Yeah.
go down to the dam down there.
There's
Yeah.
small parking there.
Yeah, that's, yeah, it's so.
I know where they live.
Yeah, first time when they had to do a different day from ahead of time, they came by there and we hadn't had it unlocked that time, so they had to wait a little bit, but they did their June 25th. Treatments, so this will be their next one, according to the, as following with the quotes that you guys have reviewed back on May 20th.
All right. 5 Natalie Circle, Tony, did you end up making the meeting? All right. So, kind of an interesting, so we're on the 5 Natalie Circle, so we've got, conservation land next to 5 Natalie Circle. Where we've got some trees that, fell, or actually, I think a branch fell off the tree, we've got some pictures in Drive. And then the tree is rotted. In the past, DPW has typically gone in and taken stuff like that down. With the budget situation, they came to us and said, hey, you know, can you help us out? We don't have the resource to do that, and it is conservation management. So Tony from the DPW has been really good about this, to get a quote, it would be, for, just had it up.
4,000.
$4,130 is what the cost would be, and that would be remove. Fallen, says leader, I think, I can't read this guy's writing it, but basically the fallen branch and removing the tree. And then there's 2 other, dead trees. And then they trim some mulberry for access to get in there. So it's, 4130 that would come out of the conservation, funds we have. I don't know if Tyler, you can put up. Yeah, good.
You might be able to find the Google Drive. I don't know if Louis has that access if you want to share it. I don't have his plan, so
Oh,
thing or access to my email or anything from where I was.
Oh, okay. All right, well, if you guys look in the drive, he put together a plan. So what happened is, you know, my concern is it looks like there may be work, right at the end of the stream. The problem is the tree fell across the stream. It looks like this, if you see this color photo. This one. Yeah, there you go. You put it up, Louis? Yep. All right, that'd be the last one.
Where is that?
It's a good question. I have.
We'll bring up the minutes.
Yeah. Conservation.
So I'm requesting to share.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, it's yes.
Oh, there it is. All right, so if you look at the screen, right? So that long rectangle is, the tree is fallen, in that rectangle. it doesn't show up very well on that screen, but there is if you see that wetland, blue wetland resource, you know, this is the GIS. Over to the right, there's a stream that feeds that, oh, there you go, there you can see, so the tree fell across the stream, so can't completely stay out of the stream and the buffer because the tree's in it now, but that they'll be cautious in working around that, but that tree is sitting like that. The green metal is the branch that they would or ending of the tree. So that's the situation. So, the tree's down, right? Question is, and it fell from the conservation land, which is over to the left, which I assume is the west of this. So it was our responsibility, 4130, to go in, clean up the stuff that fell in this residence yard from our property. It's a net sum result.
Not terribly unlike, I don't think that, 47 Wampanoag, a month or so ago.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't actually fall in their yard, it broke in half and like was leaning precariously like it was going to.
I think, you know, the only mitigation here is that screen, but I mean, the tree's in it, it's not, you could do it.
She's gonna have to get it out.
Yeah. So, so what we wanna do is, basically, approve, the funds and approve the removal of the trees.
Is it a proper use of our funds?
So it's, anything wetlands oriented, I mean, we can get an opinion on that, it's not a bad idea. But yeah, we could check that out. Just doesn't hurt, to ask, I guess we could.
Because I always thought it was for like, you know, wetland preservation, wetlands protection. Maybe this fits. I'm just concerned about precedent too. I think the town's always gonna have budget problems from here on out.
It's an issue. But they can't touch it unless we ask to let them. They can't touch our money and it's in the fund without
So,
going through us.
you know, I think it may be a legitimate point, and it's definitely something to think about. You know, a different way of looking at it is. We've got a decent amount of resources to handle this kind of thing. I think we will get a second opinion question. That's a good question. But, you know, I kind of looked at it as being good town citizens, if you will, right? You probably watched the meetings. You know, these guys came to us and said, hey, we're struggling to provide services. This is something we used to do for you guys. Is there something you can do to help take some pressure off things? It was an ask, you know, that's why we're talking about, right? Because it's gonna be forever, right? So is that something we're comfortable with? You know, I don't think I've seen a ton of this in the last few years, but doesn't mean it couldn't happen, right? So, those are considerations.
I think to Mike's point though, to find out whether we're violating some regulation or not, is a good point.
So I'll find that out, and, you know, I guess what I would say is if that is legitimate, and I'll let you guys know, are you comfortable with us moving forward? I'll make sure that's legitimate, communicate that. If you guys are okay with that, or do you have other ideas on alternative that says, you know, I'm gonna, yeah, it's tough, right? Okay.
Yeah, because I went there to Richard's point a couple of weeks ago, if we needed help carrying a 2x10 far into the woods for a bridge help, and we did help us there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I like the way you might.
The thought,
Yeah.
I mean, like you just said, if we help them, they'll help us.
Yeah, I think-
And they have helped us in the past.
They've done a lot.
Yeah, it's nothing against them, it's just our
To
resources.
go the right way, yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
fits the new standard?
You know, I think one thing to think about, right, is, you know, this is something that the conservation land just don't.
I didn't know we had that much.
There's more than you think, to be honest, you know, much of it not accessible, actually.
I know of a couple of us, how the hell would you ever get there? You couldn't.
But I think maintenance of conservation land might fall, but I am gonna totally check that. Yeah, oh, no, that's why we talk about these things, right? I mean, you know, I don't wanna make that decision, right? So I'll find that out. If it is legit, we're good with that.
I am.
Okay. I mean, don't have to be, so, but okay. All right, I'll check that out. Augusta Brook Lane, this is kind of a wild one, right? So this was a resident complaint. This guy's in Charles River, he's on a circle river, and he's got a big sign in this cul-de-sac next to his house that says conservation managed land.
I know exactly where that is. I was riding my bike by there and I says, why in the hell do we have a sign that says you can't go into the conservation? It says something to the fact that you're not supposed to go in there, and then, or I don't know what,
I can't remember
I
exactly.
didn't stop to read it. I just.
Yeah, it identifies the land as conservation.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't trying to get too close, because the guy's got like a steam shovel in there tearing up. So if you look at this, right, we're talking about Tyler, is that you with that up?
Yeah, over on this computer though, so.
Can you hit the layers on the left-hand screen? Yeah.
The stuff's
Go
over
down,
left, right?
state data, and then DEP, yeah, there you go. All right. So we're talking about the west or left-hand side of the property, right? And you can see the wetlands goes in there, into his yard. That property to his west is conservation.
Yeah.
So he's got a steam shovel in there tearing up the side of his yard there. Likely, in the wetlands, potentially himself, almost certainly in the 25-foot buffer. I mean, I drove by, the guy was operating heavy equipment, I'm not going back there to get anybody's grill. So that was just eyeballing it from the road. What we did is we sent the resident a letter indicating the issues, asking them to stop and to, and the problem now is they can't even file an MBZA for an RDA within 25 foot of this spot check. It shows that play, which likely they are. So they're probably gonna have to file an NOI. I called Lowell's Landscaping is doing work. I called them a couple times, haven't gotten anything back. So at this point, we sent the letter to the resident on Tuesday. And we'll see what we can do. So just really kind of an update as to what's going.
Believe that the letter outlines before July 21st, they should respond back to us.
Right.
So, but that'll be before that.
I know exactly where that is, and there's a sign there. I'm surprised that he's rooting, or, well, he figures he's on his own property, so he can do anything he wants,
Right.
right?
Though it's interesting because. Oh, no, it isn't the next one. Does we have it on there? Oh, we didn't put, there was so we had another, just analogously, right? We had another issue on Prospect Street. Where a tree came down and the resident called us because they were worried. The tree's literally like right in front of their house came down. And they were worried it was too close to the wetlands. Looks like it's non-jurisdictional. You measured them on GIS, I did too. I was going to be, but they went as far as just called and said, hey, we know we're near wetlands, we just wanted to be sure. This guy's got a big sign.
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing, like, you know,
I look at that damn thing every time I ride by it, and I said, oh.
because, you know, that owner, probably when they purchased their house, or it's visible too, that there's wetlands. But there's no sign, I wouldn't think there's a sign, but the previous property owner, or that other, location, there's a sign. And it's we don't really have too many of those.
Yeah.
Other than the entrances of,
Right.
conservation areas, so it's interesting that there was a sign up there. and, it wasn't red, so, so really just kind of trying to gauge of why this was even done.
Has he
So-
quit digging?
I had been back by there.
I didn't know about it. On the weekend, I rode, I went around pretty fast, but I didn't. I'll have to go over and look.
Yeah.
Should we say something?
Well, we sent a letter. I mean, we don't have any other form of contact unless we go up to the guy.
Just go up and say, hey,
Yeah. So typically,
you know.
like, like I said, I tried calling the landscaper. I called him twice. I got one message back. I'll try them again. But I didn't get it. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's the other issue on Prospect. You can see where that green dot is actually, that's the center of the lot, but actually approximately where the tree fell down. And you can see where the evidence is on property.
Yeah.
So Louis and I both measured it, it's over 100 feet GIS, so. Interestingly enough, that his buddy 2 houses down is the one who didn't show up tonight from Highland Turf for the wedding. So.
I stayed with this one, this was brought to our attention by DPW, just,
Yeah.
they had mentioned this particular 343 Prospect Street tree damage case to us, wanted to mention, yeah, and it's, so I think, if I don't know the picture up, it was kind of like a tree that like forks in the middle, half it broke, and then the other half is up, but it's like looking like it might fall down on the house, and so when, it was, Tony Brunetta, who had been over by there, or, and taken the picture, that was his observation. But, Mark, you had also been by there, right?
Yeah, so you let them know they're good to go, right?
No, yeah, no, I was waiting for
Oh, okay.
discussion at tonight's meeting, so I can.
I mean, anybody, Louis and I both thought it was non-jurisdictional, anybody have any issue?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Just let them know, okay. All right, good. I think that was it for discussion, except we do, need or would like to have somebody from the Conservation Commission that could help participate on the Community Preservation Committee. I guess Jeff is.
All right, one more we, Louis, did you want to talk about Tri-County? I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So, as we all know, Tri-County's currently they're building a new high school out there. There's a lot of, activity going on since they started. Basically, I live very close to this property, so it's a walking path for like myself, my neighbors, everybody, so, I think there was a rainstorm event that occurred right before Greek July when, to maternity leave, and I brought it up to her attention. So I did write up like a quick, photo report, saying, just indicating what I found out, what's really, I felt like areas that should be addressed, not sure if you're.
Pulling up this, I think that was recent site plan for the NOI, but if you want to share.
Yeah.
what you have, I'd be more-
Let's see if I can.
I also
Sure.
have a bunch of pictures from the site visit you and I did
If you
yesterday.
wanna- Yeah.
If you
and
want
I
me to
can-
show.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And
Yeah, let's do that.
so, while Anna's pulling them up, so this, going up to Tri-County to the school, we do get periods of rain where, sometimes you don't see visible runout, but then you get some, rainstorm events where you can see a lot of the, murky runout just coming down to the intersection of, West Central and Tri-County. I think, when I first observed it, it was around springtime. I did talk to Bruce July, it got sent over to, their CN, the contractors, and also we CC'd some of the folks here in Franklin, the engineering, DPW, I think, who else was it? I think it was. So so really just kind of bring notice that, there's a lot of stuff that's coming down. And whether we should take a look at the existing, mitigations that are in place. So we did get a response back, and, around about like a day or two later, it did seem like there was some activity as far as cleanup and taking a look at these areas. That was back in May. And then, so with that in mind, I figured that perhaps it would be some periodic cleanups or, site maintenance as far as for the next rainstorms. So, what I didn't really see too much as far as, what's existing. Really, assisting with, or at least preventing a lot of that, because I think, there's 2 rainstorm periods where you saw basically the same thing. And in one case, I think it was during the fishing derby, right after that, when it rained, saw basically I was kind of heading back to the house and I saw a lot of it just running down. And I took a lot of photos, videos, just to kind of, if somebody, because oftentimes when these things occur, it's probably the weekend, nobody's out there. But just to kind of get us to record and just to kind of show that we need to definitely need to take a look at some of these areas. And it will narrate that catch basin there. Is that the one? That's the base of the
Yeah.
new installed road 2 days ago. I want to say that was covered up. So I think they definitely took care of that. That's brand new. But what I seen was like for between the period of like an extensive amount of time, maybe over a month. I think I seen it not really touched. So what was it when we went out there yesterday? I saw that clean. I can't say the same thing for other areas, and Anna will show you some of these.
Let me find that one with the, so this is right near their construction site. You can
All
see
that right there, no, it's just runoff. That's just really it's just.
So where's that photo being taken?
So that's so you see where the road where the bend is.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's the final plan. But it would be like close to the bend of the they have they built they call a goat trail with the blocks. So they elevated that to get access way. So that's adjacent to that.
Well, what happened today with, we had a real gully washer today.
Today wasn't actually as bad as, but I've seen days where you really will see it coming down. This is probably just standing there. I didn't go check it out, but this is, what you'll typically see. That right there is a catch basin that's been buried. And really, it's buried so much that the one day where we had that, I was coming back from a fishing derby. And I was seeing all that stuff run down the Tri-County Road. I took a trip up there. That's the parking lot.
Okay.
That's the parking lot up. So on the other side of that barrier, that's where your wetlands actually are. So that right there.
Oh, wow.
So that right there, a lot of the water that was basically pooling in that area, and it basically, so it wasn't going anywhere, so it was spilling over the curb and onto down the hill there. So a lot of concern on that one. That's just one of my many concerns, but Anna can talk more about what she also saw.
Yeah, so this is up on top of the goat path area, and you can just see all the exposed soil everywhere, and there was pretty significant rill erosion, and you can see where it's overtopping these cement blocks right here.
What was the
So
red, is that a silt fence or something? Or is it just a
I think it's just
a barrier fence?
yeah, I think it's just a construction fencing. They have some of the here I have pictures of here's some of the erosion controls they have on the site right now. So not in great condition. Yeah, just a lot of sedimentation everywhere. And that was just of another area. But yeah, so they are doing SWIP inspections, which should be, addressing some of these. But they were sending them to Bricolai. So we asked them to forward them to us, and I believe Tyler got a couple in. I wasn't able to look through those today. I don't know if Louis was.
I did.
You did?
What I saw was because they attached photos on that report, and so they focus on the actual construction area. But
Mhm.
these, what I didn't clearly see is those other areas where it is, you know, where you saw that silk, the, you know, the socks out there. And then also the other catch basins that are along the parking lot, where they have, you know. Some, what do you call it? The,
Compost filter tubes, is that what you're?
all that, but like you don't, you know, they don't really take pictures of that, so it's kind of like. It's okay for the construction site, but you know, everything running downhill is
Yeah,
where
and you can,
also installed. some-
Well, it looks to me like-
There are not documented, whatever, so.
The primary problem is that bloody road that's coming down there. Because once the water gets running, it's all down, straight downhill.
Yeah,
And that's what comes down and comes out on the road right by your house. And it's that catch basin down there and plugs it up Ricky Dick and off into the wetlands it goes. So
Mhm.
they gotta do something about it, stopping that water coming down the road.
so. So I can definitely, if you allow me to, I can share and I can give you show you what that is, what that was.
For sure. Well, we talked about this before, and they haven't really addressed anything after you guys joked them about it?
So, I don't really see, whatever's in place is, what I did see notice is that, right above where those silt socks are degraded,
Yeah,
they did put some stone, so like where the perimeter of the catch basin is. What that essentially does is like, there's so much rainwater falling in this area, it actually overtopples, and then it overtopples the,
sure.
you know, the damming of right before the silt socks, and it'll just carry over, and I have some video, really what shows that
Right.
happening.
Put
So.
3 silt socks in there is
I
not.
don't know, but it's just the way the water's kind of diverted, and I think, you know, maybe we need to really take a look at how it's diverted. What that height needs to be, you know, and really just, it's not just as simple just putting these measures in place, because it looks like it's not. You know, you do have them in place, but I don't believe they're effective, because you still see that stuff continuing on all the way down to the road. So really, that's kind of where I wanted to highlight there. If you just give me a minute, or so.
Yeah, and there are provisions with the SWIP inspections about stabilizing exposed soils within their site too. So we talked to Casey, who I don't know what his position was there, but one of the project managers, about stabilizing some of these slopes and maybe regrading them so that there's potentially less runoff.
That was part of the stormwater pollution prevention plan.
Yeah, that's just a general for all of the CGP SWIPs that you're supposed to, I think it's after 14 days. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's after 14 days of no work occurring in an area, you're supposed to do temporary stabilization. I might be wrong about the day, but it is definitely a temporary stabilization.
So we require them to give us a stormwater pollution prevention plan, but, and I'm just asking opinion here, Anna, wow, look at that video.
So this is the video that, I think this was back when in May, I believe, when I basically what triggered all this is, hey, this is not looking right. And I think Nicole, you had brought up when you mentioned about the dust and it collecting and all that, so
It was,
this is all
this is.
running
this is-
down, drying up, and then, kids were still in school around that time.
Yeah.
So, it runs down, I mean, it's,
Well, this was in May. And here we are in July. They're not really stepping up and doing very much about it. I mean, this is not an insurmountable problem. They're just not addressing it.
I did see a street sweeper the other day, down there. I mean, I'm just saying, that's,
I know,
yeah. Do they
Well,
have construction?
it's nice that they're doing that, but the damn water shouldn't be, the stuff shouldn't be there.
No, it should, But do they have a construction mat or something for the trucks to be, I mean, what are they doing when?
So that's one of the things we talked about with, the KC, he's from Consigli. You know, just to kind of contain a lot of the debris and dust. He said that they did have it, it just wasn't, you can correct me, it wasn't, they didn't have it in place. but they
Yeah.
do- And they were gonna reposition it to where the traffic area is.
Is this a haul road here? I mean, is this an access road?
Uh,
They use it for access?
This is
there-
their goat path up here that they use to access the site.
And this is the, you know, so this was taken back in May, I believe, so. I got the dates here.
Oh, this is May.
This is May, but then I'll show you the one where, the most recent one.
I'd be interested in see what happened today.
Mm.
You were out there today?
We were there yesterday.
Yesterday,
Yep. But if it rained more than, I believe, 0.25, then they should have a SWIP inspection from today.
because it didn't run off today. They must have, yeah.
Yeah, so this was June 7th. This is when I was coming back from the fishing derby. This is what,
Oh, that's where.
yeah, so that catch basin that's buried. Which was buried yesterday as well. This is what the effect is.
Is that the construction debris, they like?
That's all silt coming, if you can follow that path all the way up to the construction
I
zone.
like those trees that are been tossed in the wetlands.
Yeah.
Is that stuff they?
I don't know what,
Because that's a curve right there.
Yeah.
That's like yard waste they tossed. Some, not from the center they tossed, somebody tossed.
yeah. But this is, it dams up, it has nowhere to go and it just flows down.
It's running into a wetland, which now it comes into our purview.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Like I said, these things were. You know, they're highly visible, it's not just like one, you know, small, you know, little. This is still June 7th.
this is all preventable. Yeah, this is just a construction site. Yeah, it's going downhill but if you're not really. You can stop this from happening or you can mitigate it greatly. Oh.
Yeah, it goes all the way down to Old West Central Street.
Right,
Sure it does, yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah, so you can see a lot of, it just comes out.
I was gonna bring it up tonight, even, I was gonna ask, I know a lot of our. NOIs, we approve them with conditions, and I know I've heard more than once. If it's more than an inch of rain, I think is the amount. There's some kind of a report that has to be made too.
Well, that's what Anna was, oh, right, it was, yeah, that's what, I was looking at the conditions, Roger, I was trying to see what we, you know. And it's the stormwater pollution prevention, and it's in the conditions, but they were required to submit that. Anna, would that apply just to the finished project or the project as in construction, do you know, typically? those-
Yeah, so I do SWIP inspections for other projects. So after every 0.25 rain event, 2.25 inches of rain, I go out to the site and do an inspection. I think sometimes it's 0.5 or 0.25, so it depends on what the was approved, but yeah, so that's throughout the duration of the project.
So Tyler, do you think you'd be able to find the stormwater pollution prevention plan that was conditioned to be provided prior to the commencement of construction? This was last summer. It was in July, I think we. But I don't see I got the conditions, but I don't see where that plan would have.
So, I'll be looking for that, just, this was yesterday's, these were my photos from site visit, let me just back up.
Can check and see if they submitted anything more recent. This would be the stormwater management report, which was, this one is from June 27th by 2024.
Yeah, it would have been last summer when it came through, but. that would have been different, that would have been the, well. It, where was that? In the,
On the project page, this is sort of. So this is like by date of things submitted, so it looks like they
Oh.
had revised the NOI. Functions and characteristics statement, a variance request letter, stormwater reports.
okay.
So yeah, you can find this on the conservation website under 2024 projects under approved project would be, I believe, where this one. is. Check.
Anna, when you were out there yesterday, did you see any obvious deficiencies in their stormwater prevention?
Yeah, so a lot of them are, you know, they don't all have the same provisions, but a lot of the general provisions are sweeping frequently in the roadways, ensuring erosion controls are in place, the silt sacks aren't full, which we saw a lot of them that were, you know, very full. Stabilization of exposed soils, you know, proper disposal of cement, which we also saw some on the ground. So there was a couple that, you know, were definitely things that I would call out if I was doing the SWIP inspection. But it does depend on what their provisions were, but a lot of them are general, like the ones I just mentioned. So, and another thing is they did say they had a sweeper at the site. They said they do it every Tuesday and Thursday, but the pictures I'm showing are from Wednesday, so this was the day after they swept, and there was still, you know, pretty substantial amount of sediment throughout the roadways.
There's
It's
a,
wonderful that they sweep the street, but it's all the water running down the street, exiting stage left into the wetlands with a bunch of silt in it. That's preventable. And I think from our perspective, that we need to bark at them about, hey, you can't be doing this. And you need to put together a plan. I mean, it's not rocket science, this is construction, hell's bells.
No, and I get that.
You can stop it. If you have to put a bunch of little. Now, I know we don't like to use. Hay bales, but you can use straw bales with a silt fence in front of them, which is a much. It's a firmer. Block. To filter that stuff, and if you put several check dams down there, it comes over a little bit, hits on the next one, you know, and that, you could do that in half a day.
So I did wanna point out the concrete situation here. So they do have a concrete washout area. And this is it right here. I was referencing it was actually the one where Louise Drive. I remember they essentially had a containment area.
Yeah.
Where, you know, for a project, you know, for just a residential project, they had containment areas. Where, you know, I think I remember talking to, who was putting the design and said, hey, don't, you know, make it down to like 75%, they'll make it 290 because you don't want it to overflow. I didn't see any containment area here, so this is kind of, you know, I was kind of looking for, if they are doing concrete work, which they are doing a lot of it, they can, you know, we need to they need to demonstrate that, you know, it is being contained when it's washed out, where's it going to? But I was kind of looking for that similar design as Louis Drive, but I didn't see it there. This is all I saw of their containment. All the hard concrete is being dumped into the dumpster there. But you know, you do see some, you know, dried up concrete on the.
Well, once you clean the truck out, within an hour or two, concrete's set. It's not going anywhere. But previous to that, when you originally pour it in there, yeah, if it's wet out and if it's for a short period of time, it could roll down a hill. That's the problem. Is that where they're dumping right there?
So they're, this is the area that they said that they're doing their washout, their clean out, so. So I don't know, as far as like their dumping,
Well, no, they're done, that's their clean out area.
that's their clean out,
Yeah.
it does mean it.
Is it a flat piece of land or is it able to run down the hill?
It looks flat, but what I guess really what I was taking, looking at was, where you have a lining of some sort.
You don't need, you really don't need a line, but you should have a little something around it, keep it, when you're,
Boxed in.
when you're first cleaning the truck out, so that, because he's using a lot of water to clean it out. So you don't contaminate beyond that, I mean, that's pretty poor.
The EPA has a whole thing on concrete washing.
Yes, so which I also took.
But there should be it should be a contained area,
Container for it.
yeah.
And there's specifically a container that EPA recommends.
Oh, you mean buy a container?
There is a container that EPA requires for concrete washout.
Oh.
Actually, just weigh in and say, there is a stormwater pollution prevention report in that project page.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and it is anything, a quarter inch of rain or more, they're supposed to inspect, I just found.
A container.
Up you guys just.
That's what's.
But
No, I've never seen it.
No, on Louise Drive, we approved one. So,
sorry,
Where do you buy them?
So doesn't. I know I know this is Tri-County, so it's not just for Franklin, but if Franklin was building a school. They had
Oh, he's got it, I know it's.
site project manager.
here, this is an example,
So
this is Louise Drive, and on the bottom
Site
there.
project manager's gonna be walking that site with. One of us, so
This is what it looks like.
there's some.
So this is Louise Drive,
Sure.
where I'm showing. And this is what
We can talk
what
about it
they're,
tonight, but
what they're.
yeah, I mean,
containing-
something that's
containing
gonna be done.
Yeah, he's got hay bales around it yeah.
Online and,
Yeah, so.
that sure has in there, it's on the last page.
Last page.
I believe on the, I think it is, it's.
Litter and debris cleanup shall be performed daily.
Oh, vinyl washout container. Portable around, you know.
Oh, I know, I remember Breek Alive read them all even. During that meeting.
I don't know how you'd reuse that, because once the concrete sets in there, that'd be a booger to get out of. But,
The problem is observed erosion and sediment control needs repair and replacement. Work must be
Joe,
initiated
Marshall.
immediately to fix the problem and shall be completed by the end of the next work day. I mean, maybe we ought to review this plan with these guys. I mean, this is the plan they submitted to us for the stormwater pollution prevention plan.
they're not living up to it.
No,
So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff running down that street and it's I think the last storm. We just been having these storms, it just keeps coming down. And
Yeah, but
if you see where Anna has that photo. A lot of that erosion, it's fine sediment, sediment, material. And that seeps through the blocks itself and then just kind of spills over and just runs all the way downhill. So I've seen it, I got the videos. It just confirms that that's where it's coming from, so. It's not good, I mean, they definitely need to take a look at how to control it. They're also wasting material there too, because they have to replace that. But again, it's gotta really be, constructed better.
do we know who submitted? So we got a couple of the stormwater prevention plan updates, you said, Tyler, from them.
They sent some of them just today, since they had been sending them to Breek Alive, but not forwarding forwarding them over to me. Until just now.
Is the person that signs it, does he have a title, actually say that, or is it just?
It is Samiotis, is that who's sending it?
No, it's Consigli.
Right.
Somebody from Consigli.
Okay. So they're doing the inspections and completing the reports, so they're doing that.
And Ziggy was doing the actual construction too, right?
Yeah, but
That's all.
let's see if I can pull one up.
Hey, Anna, question, I don't know if you're still with us, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
I've never gone through this, so just maybe perspective from things you've seen. You know, would it be out of bounds for us to request a representative come in and talk us through this? I mean, just reading through the SWIP here, looks like they're in violation of the plan, or not violation, they're not following the
Oh,
plan.
they are.
They should not be, they're not following.
Yeah.
You submitted to us, so maybe, we could have them come in and talk about that and what they're gonna do to get on board. Is that procedurally something you've seen happen before?
Yeah, so I do a SWIP inspection in Rochester, and the commission is involved with all the work that goes on there. So I would say most likely yes. I mean, I think one of the major things for them is at least temporary stabilization of these slopes. Because as you can see, this is like where a majority of the material is coming from, and it's just completely exposed soil. So, and it should be a part of their SWIP too for temporary stabilization.
Yeah, it's in there, they're just not doing it. I mean, I got the SWIP up and I'm just reading through it. I mean, it's all, they should be doing, the Richards point is in there. They're
Yep.
just not doing it.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know what you guys think. I think we request that they send a representative into one of our next two meetings. Explain what's going on, whether they feel they're in compliance with their own SWIP they submitted. If not, why not, and what they're doing to get on board.
I say next meeting.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's why the reason behind this, because it's, I haven't really seen too much, progress with this. And I really wanted to get it out before, we're getting storms again, so. So really we need to address this.
All right, so we have a contact,
We,
or at least who's submitting a report.
Yes.
So I didn't know if you were dealing with somebody.
not directly, I just met somebody from the, at the trailer, so whoever this,
Okay, so why don't we do this? Tyler, can you forward me one of the emails with the report they sent us?
Okay, I think you were on the email when I
Yeah.
notified you earlier this afternoon and said, I addressed that to Louis, because Louis had been looking for them in particular, but I think you were also on there.
Okay,
I can check and see, I think there's at least a few people from Consigli on their initial email, so I can try reaching out to the one who did send them over. to me.
Yeah, I think, I may have the old email too when I first sent my report and who responded to that.
Right,
So I think there were some folks from Tri-County on it, so I think that would probably be the right POCs for this.
do you know how to use anyone, or had anyone at DPW been aware of this?
The initial report that I sent, like Rico, had asked me to include 3 people from the town.
Okay,
That was, that's who I included on my initial one, so.
okay,
But this could be a follow-up to it. I think I only sent it to you, but if you want, feel free to forward it to whoever needs to.
yeah, I think. Tyler, can you resend that to me?
yeah, I don't have a computer to send it to.
No, I know, yeah. I'll take a shot. I'll take a shot at a email, bounce it off you guys, see if you wanna add or change it. Yeah.
Your pictures of what you're telling me that's their washout area? Not a washout area, you're just dumping it on the bloody ground, is it, right? I mean, it's just laying on the ground?
So I thought he just, who met us up at from Consigli said it was a washout area. Anna, did you pick, was that also your understanding too, that what do you describe that as?
The cement washout area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
that's what it seemed like to me too, yeah.
They're just dumping it on the ground?
I don't know, so. I
Yeah,
mean, they manage the concrete, I guess.
Right.
Unless there was another site, but that was the only one that we were shown.
Cause you can use a hay bale and plastic washout pit, which is, they'll take any, I don't know, fix one of those up.
Man, there's a lot of concrete in this area, so. You know, I would expect like a elevated level of some of that containment.
Well, they definitely need to get in here.
Not cleaning the concrete.
Huh?
They're gonna alter the pH of the soil if they keep just dumping that.
Well, yeah, right, you can't, I mean, it's. You're not supposed to be doing that. Yeah. There's a way to do it and a way not to do it.
So thanks, Anna, for
Yeah.
walking that site with me. And, you
Yeah,
know,
no problem.
So it's good to have a second set of eyes on that one.
Hmm. Definitely
Yeah.
a lot going on.
Validate what I'm observing, that's needing to be addressed.
All right, so we'll ask them to come in, I think that's
And specifically ask them to give us a dissertation on what their concrete washout is and looks like.
Okay. Louise Drive asked for continuance, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was it, and then so I don't think there's any other discussion before we get to the community preservation committee. I think that's all I had.
I think you're right.
Thanks for the time you spent on that. We'll be happy. So, yeah, we started talking about this a couple minutes ago. So the Community Preservation Committee, it asked if, we could have somebody from the Concom participate in that, Jeff did do it. So I didn't know if any of you guys had any interest in that. You familiar with the community preservation? Okay.
What is the Community Preservation Committee?
So, 4 or 5 years ago, we passed that.
Oh, yeah.
Community preservation funds, those are the funds we use to secure the loan to buy Schmidt Farm. So the way I understand it, you guys understand more, they manage those.
Yeah,
funds.
they just, they manage that, figure out what to do and what not to do. Yeah. I'd be willing.
All right,
Thank you, Richard.
I think they meet once a month.
I'll let them know and I'll get in contact with you.
Well, I'm retired and my time is my own.
All right. Very good.
We'll find Roger.
Yeah.
He's got his fees.
It's a good thing.
It's not a bad thing.
All right, so I'll let them know on that. I'm gonna follow up on the funds for the trees removal, make sure we're in the clear, and that's a good question. Actually, one of the things, you had it right, this was, 260 Daniels, now that we open that, but, when we were talking to John Nero from Data, he gave them, instead of giving them how to remove Japanese knotweed, he gave them resources where they could research it, so they could put together their phone. It was kind of your comment, so I just thought you had it right, so, but we figured it out, which was good, so I gave them the resources and, hopefully they'll do it next time. That'll be part of it. But other than that, I think that was it.
Motion.
All right, yeah, for a motion to adjourn.
You're done.
Aye.
Aye.
Good job.